Once upon a time, in a kingdom far away and yet curiously near, there lived a handsome young prince named Yibo. Prince Beau seemed to want for nothing. He had wealth and a loving family. His appearance was hailed across the land. Commoners and royals alike sang the praises of his snowy white skin, his luscious plump lips, his cute button nose, and his full smooth cheeks. He also had exquisite fashion taste, and he regularly left people in shock with his handsome appearance during kingdom galas and concerts. In addition to his physical gifts, Prince Beau had been blessed with athleticism and a brilliant mind for picking up skills. Any sport he undertook, he immediately excelled at. From the foreign challenge of balancing on dragon teeth in the seas of chinoiserie, to his descent of the magical mountains of Snow Moncler while being pursued by invisible ice harpies. He competed impressively against the dancing gods of the butter and bread kingdom, and even mastered the strange hovering fairy boards of the punk fairies. No matter the skill, Prince Beau showed himself impressively. But some royals and many strangers decided that his blank, expressionless face indicated that something was wrong with him. Something must be missing from the beautiful Prince Beau's life to make him appear so miserable and pitiable. They discussed how lonely he must be, and the prince's handlers panicked at the public image the prince was developing. In desperation, they enacted a great social event called the Grand Seduction. The fairest beauties in the land were paraded before Prince Beau. He took time out of his busy schedule to escort some of the young ladies for dinner or dancing, always looking his most dashing, because Prince Beau always gave his full respect and effort. When that failed to yield a love match to bring a smile to Yibo's face, the most handsome eligible bachelors in the land gave their best attempt to win the prince's heart. Again, Yibo appeared to put in the effort, dressing in finery and looking gorgeous, but yet again no one managed to crack his stoic expression. "He's too arrogant," a princess complained. "He's rude and snobby," a disappointed duke accused. "Why doesn't he enjoy life like the rest of us do?" wondered someone else. The rumors began to circulate that Prince Beau was a cold-hearted man, and that his beautiful exterior was only a mask to cover an icy, unfeeling heart. His enemies pushed this gossip to all corners of the kingdom, and even created false paintings of him in their efforts to deceive the people. Rival princes began to gain notoriety. Their admirers claimed that their princes were the fairest in the land, and that Prince Beau had become both ugly and unlikable. They had their followers secretly compose hateful ballads about Yibo, and many tapestries featuring the prince were mysteriously torn down or vandalized. In time, under the relentless barrage of negativity, Prince Beau began to grow genuinely distressed. A loner by nature, he took to walking the streets of the kingdom in disguise, needing his privacy while he attempted to figure out what was wrong with him. Were the villagers and royals correct? Was he truly cold and unfriendly? Did he dislike all women? And was he saving his smile for only one person who might not even exist? He had walked for miles before he noticed a little black cat following him. Yibo stopped and squatted down to pet it. The cat, which had brilliant green eyes, purred beneath the gentle attention. "Do you speak?" Yibo asked it. The cat sniffed, apparently offended. "Do you? According to the rumors, you're a socially awkward lump of wood." Yibo stared in shock and then threw back his head and laughed until he had tears in his eyes. "Maybe I am," he said after he had composed himself. "Look at me. Who would wish to talk to someone so boring?" "If only you were more like him," the cat suggested, and pointed with a dainty paw into a shop beside them. Yibo stood and looked through the doorway. To his astonishment, gazing back at him was the most handsome, charming man he had ever seen. The young man's eyes were crinkled up adorably, and his cheeks were plump and high because of his smile. Speaking of smiles, this stranger's smile captivated Yibo because he had never seen one shaped this way. It curved, just like a little heart, and as he stared, the heart grew wider. "Do you see now?" the little cat asked him. Confused, Yibo looked away from the man to glance down at his feline companion. "I see that incredible man there, yes. Who is he?" The cat made a funny little sound that Yibo realized was laughter. "Look closer, Your Highness. You're looking into a mirror." With a gasp, he looked back, and yes, he could see that he was looking into a very large looking glass. The handsome, smiling young man in the reflection was him. "But I've never seen myself this way," he murmured in wonder. "You're this way every time you do something you enjoy, Your Highness," the little cat told him. "You just forgot this and began to believe the nonsense spoken by your enemies." "I don't look cold," Prince Yibo said as he touched his smiling cheeks. "And I don't look arrogant or miserable." "Because you aren't those things. You have always been this person." The cat purred as it rubbed itself against the prince's legs. "You are warm and sweet. You are loyal and loving. You are very enjoyable company, Your Highness." "Then I'll show them this," Yibo exclaimed, "and prove them wrong." He returned to the castle and immediately called for a soiree. That night, he dazzled his audience with his smiles and his laughter. He shocked them all, and he went to sleep proud that he had proved them wrong. But alas, when he awoke the next morning, it was to the gossip that he was merely an actor, and a poor one at that. No one believed that his smiles had been genuine. This simply wasn't Prince Beau, his enemies had insisted. This was a man pretending to be someone he was not. Discouraged, Yibo retreated into seclusion. Time passed and the kingdom seemed to grow a little dimmer, a little darker. One day, a strange storm raged, and when it passed, a demon stood in the court of the royal castle.
"I've heard that this is a kingdom of gloom and cowardice. Does such a place deserve to exist? Prove me wrong, or I shall destroy everything that I see."
The bravest knights attempted to confront him, but once they met the demon's intense glare, they cried out in fear, collapsed, or simply ran away. The nobles and rival princes were called forth to confront the demon next, but the demon only laughed as soon as he saw them.
"All of you are cowards. Look at how your legs shake. You should see the terror on your faces. Is there no one strong enough to stand up to me?"
And without fanfare, Prince Beau emerged. He said, "I don't fear you, vile demon. I and my people are too courageous to be defeated by one such as you." The demon glared at the prince. He gave him his coldest, most fearsome look, which turned all the window panes of the castle to brittle ice. But Prince Beau stared back without reaction, unaffected by the demon's wrath. He looked nearly bored. The demon growled in frustration, before finally bowing his head.
"I was wrong. You are truly brave, handsome prince. You defend your people well, so I shall leave you to it."
The demon disappeared in a crack of energy, leaving Prince Beau standing there, alone. "You were so brave," cheered the people. "Why weren't you afraid of such a powerful demon?" asked his enemies. "Who said I wasn't?" Yibo held up his hands, which shook with tremors. "I was terrified, but I couldn't let the demon see that. I had to rely on my control." With shame, his enemies realized that it was Yibo's powerful expression control, the very thing they had criticized him for, which had saved them all. Prince Beau emerged from seclusion with his burden lifted and his mind clear. He no longer felt trapped by other people's expectations. He knew who he was, and he was pleased to be this person. He was unbothered by the hurtful songs he had heard the minstrels play. He didn't care about the banners of rival princes, which had been glued atop his own banners. He now understood that these were the efforts of those who feared how much his people could love him. But hatred would never win over the people the way that being genuine and honest could. He mounted his magical, mechanical steed, colored in stunning emerald. The smile that lifted his cheeks felt 1,000 times more powerful than it had before. But he also knew he would never have to fake this smile to prove anything to anyone. He patted the seat in front of him. "Hop on and let me show you." The cat settled between the prince's legs with a satisfied purr. Yes, show me what makes you happy, Your Highness. Yibo laughed. There's so much. This will take us all day. And it did take all day, and into the next day and the next, because Prince Beau was a young man full of joy who found pleasure in much. Whether he revealed that or not was up to him, and the people learned to love that mystery about him. It made him wholly unique.